Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So Heather, before we get started today, I want to ask you a question. And that is, what is your favorite thing that you use all the time, but you used to buy it conventionally and now you do a healthier option of it?
I was a big dryer sheet user. Oh, and now I cringe every single time I think about the dryer sheets. But I did love the fresh smell of the dryer sheets. And so I, for a long time now, luckily, have switched over to the wool dryer balls that you can just put essential oils onto. The thing I absolutely love about it is that I can change out my scent. So the dryer sheet, I was limited to fresh linen or whatever for a period of time. But now I can change it out per load if I really want to. So one of my favorites is lemon and eucalyptus. I feel like it's really easy to do. You drop a few drops on, stick it in there, and then the clothes smell nice and fresh. What about you?
Yeah, I love that. It's so funny. I've used dryer balls for so long now. I kind of forgot that that's not a normal thing. So yeah, no, that's awesome. And like you, I like that you can change out the scent. So like if it is bedding, I like to do lavender or serenity or something like that. So yeah, that's beautiful. My response would be the countertop cleaner, like all-purpose cleaners. I feel like I have slowly evolved. Like I used to use, I don't even know, maybe Lysol or something like that. I used to use something super chemically, and then I got a kind of clean version at Target, and then I went into the whole homemade, like with vinegar and water and some essential oils. But I really, really love doTERRA's Abode all-purpose cleaner, and like the fact that it's concentrated, it's that tiny little bottle, and yeah, we clean almost everything with that, and it works so well.
I agree. I like that one too. And actually, the Abode essential oil is also great on the dryer balls if you have not tried that.
Yeah, we actually have a bottle of Abode in our little laundry room for
Same.
that reason. So, yeah. All right. Well, tell us what we're popping open today.
We are actually going to continue this conversation. We are going to talk about easy, healthy swaps around the house today.
Yeah, I think this is so important. I just recently heard on a podcast, and unfortunately, I can't remember what podcast it was because I listened to a ton of them. But on a podcast, it was an interview with a doctor, and they were talking about fertility for women in their 20s and 30s in the US and why it is so hard for women to get pregnant these days. And she said that these women were grown up in the era of birth control and Bath and Body Works, and that is why she thinks it's so hard. And the amount of chemicals that we are exposed to really are impacting fertility rates. And I just thought that was, number one, sad, but number two, definitely true. I mean, I'm a little older than that. I'm 45, but I actually worked for limited brands that own Bath and Body Works. So I had so much different smelling things in my home. And I mean, as soon as I hit my 20s, I feel like every doctor talked to me about birth control as well. And so just thinking about how many people have been exposed to chemicals that just aren't natural to the body and the impact it has is shocking. So I'm glad we're talking about this today.
Well, and I feel like those products were big gifts, and maybe they still are now, but not in the circle I run, just because I think people know that I don't like those or want to receive those now. But you think about how many people receive that type of stuff as gifts and then use it unknowingly because they enjoy the scent. I personally always struggled with going into those types of stores because I feel like I've always been a little sensitive to smell, and certain smells immediately almost give me a headache. I never, ever equated that to toxins. I always just thought I had a sensitive smell and it was too strong because it could be perfumes or what's the store? Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. They had the entire wall of candles as soon as you would walk in, right in the front of the store. And so I would have to like hustle past that part of the store to get to where I was going because I could not stand near that section without immediately getting a headache. So I've always felt like I've been sensitive to that. and probably in a good way that allowed me to not want to use those products as much as probably other people did. But they were big gifts back then too, which is really hard.
I think they still are big gifts. In fact, I just went to a white elephant gift exchange. And what's funny is majority of the group is very holistic minded, and somebody brought that as a gift. And I don't think they brought it as a joke, whereas
Right.
it kind of would have been appropriate with that group to bring it as a joke, but nobody was stealing that gift.
Right.
Because we were like, no, we are not, we're not taking this.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the first thing that you switched over when you started becoming more aware?
Right. I think the cleaner, like you said, I feel like that one was a really easy thing to switch. I had already experimented with things like vinegar and baking soda. So adding essential oils and making them have a good scent. Vinegar does not smell good for anybody that's never used it. Being able to give them a good scent, especially something like lemon, where it's really fresh and has a big impact quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that, and it was very easy to do. Going to a diffuser from candles was fairly easy to do. For a long time, I think I struggled with missing the light of the candle or the action of lighting the candle. So we did have unscented candles in the house for a long time. And so we could light the candle, but then use the diffuser. But then I feel like just kind of getting away from the whole candles come with their own toxins with or without the scent. So unfortunately, I have since moved away from candles completely. We have some for emergency purposes, which did come in handy here in Texas a couple years ago during an ice storm, but we rarely use candles around the house anymore.
Yeah. I went away from candles, and then the last year or so, I have just gotten back into really loving a flame and like just the soothingness of it. So I have thankfully found a company that makes, hand poured soy candles, don't have any junk in them. And so I'm super grateful for that.
Can you please share the name of that? I think I would appreciate that, and others would as well.
Well, it's local. So if you're in the Dallas area, it's the White Rock Soap Gallery.
Okay.
They make handmade soaps too. And even what's funny is they have scented candles as well, but they're scented with essential oils. They also sell some of their essential oils. Smelling the oils, I was like, nope. But
not clean oils, yeah.
Yeah, but their candles with the oils definitely don't give me a headache or anything. So I'm grateful for that. Definitely recommend that company if you're local. And if you're not local, go see if you can find yourself a place like that. But it took me a long time to find a place.
You had a candle experience recently that you and I were discussing a week or two ago. Can you share that story, please?
Yes, definitely. So a friend gave me literally the most beautiful candle I have ever seen. It's in a glass jar, and it looks like the outside of a house. So it's painted a building, and then there's the windows, and then you can look in the windows, and there's all these like Christmas scenes going on. And when you light the candle, of course, like the whole inside glows. And so it's like looking inside of a house, and it's just gorgeous, like the prettiest candle that I've ever seen. But when she gave it to me, like before I even opened the lid, I was like, oh, this smells really strong. And sure enough, take the lid off, light it. And the first night we got it, we had it lit for about an hour. And both my husband and I are just like, it's so pretty. But the smell was so strong. And after an hour, I had a headache, so I blew it out. The next day, I started my period, and it was a full week early. And I'm pretty regular. So it might not be related, but there's a good chance it is. Like, I don't normally breathe in toxins like that for a full hour at a time. And since then, like even when I was talking to Heather about it the other day, we were on Zoom. So I showed her the candle, and just like, did I light the candle? I don't think I even lit
but
it.
You opened it and showed it close. It was close to your face.
Yeah. Just that, like, instant headache. And so I do think I am way more sensitive to chemical smells now than I used to be. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm glad that my nose will tell me immediately, this is not good for you. Step away, step away. But I also think when you're so used to and inundated with different scents, it's really hard to pinpoint this is causing you damage until you like detox from it. And then it's really obvious.
The hard part about being extra sensitive at this point is that there are certain situations in life that you cannot escape from.
Right.
Say you are standing on a train next to somebody that has a lot of perfume on and it's a crowded train and there's nowhere to go. I feel like there are instances when you're near somebody or something strong scented that you cannot escape from. And it is such a struggle. It's so interesting that our nose can be that powerful or sensitive to be able to struggle with something like that. It seems like I'm standing next to somebody, they have a strong scent on. Okay, I can do this, but no, oh my goodness, get me away from this situation.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I went somewhere recently and they had clean and just the cleaning product smells. And it's sad because it's like I appreciate cleanliness, but not when it smells so bad.
That was a really big thing after COVID or during COVID, right? Because people were using really powerful cleaners to what they thought was doing good. And yet here they are doing all this toxic harm at the same time. And during that period of time, I was so grateful for the On Guard cleaners and the Abode cleaners. I don't remember how long the Abode's been out.
It hasn't been out that long. It came out in 2020, I think.
Oh, it came out that year. Okay.
Yeah, September 2020.
So I was very grateful for those and knowing that they were doing the job that they needed to clean things, but yet also not being this overpowering toxic scent too.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. Well, we actually initially were going to talk about a whole bunch of different recipes on this podcast and realized that could get super boring to be like, take 16 ounces of vinegar and add 5 to 10 drops of blah, 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 So, but we know that you guys like stuff like that. So we actually, I don't know if you know this, but we have a blog and we will link the blog that will list out a whole bunch of recipes for you just so that you can go look for that. But without going through all the recipes, do you have a favorite DIY recipe that you still use?
Oh boy. Well, like I said, I do the dryer balls. That's an easy one because you can kind of customize it. Obviously, I use different diffuser blends all of the time. I have a stovetop cleaner with Purify that I will list, and we did for the Purify episode. That's on there somewhere. I really like using vinegar and lemon for glass cleaning. I feel like that does an excellent job for that. I use so many. So those are just a few. I feel like it's going to be much better if we just have some recipes on there.
I agree, but I am going to share one just because this is fun and I enjoy doing it. I don't do it all the time because doTERRA has products, like the multi-purpose cleaner does this just fine, it's a toilet bowl cleaner. So instead of using the multi-purpose stuff, if you take just baking soda and pour it in the toilet bowl, add a few drops of lemon oil, and then pour vinegar in, the vinegar and the baking soda create almost like a little explosion. And it's awesome because it like really gets the toilet bowl clean and then you just flush and it like cleans the whole thing. So it's just like, it's a fun, almost like science experiment, kids science experiment type thing. So that's the one that comes to mind.
Okay, so I used to use a lot of baking soda and vinegar together as well. However, and that is a fun little volcanic explosion, but I had heard that they canceled each other out. So for good measure, I went to the Google and asked just to see if I was thinking correctly. And yes, when used together, baking soda and vinegar actually neutralize each other. So they cancel out the benefits of the low pH of the vinegar and the high pH for the baking soda, which causes a chemical reaction that produces a salt and a water. So I'm guessing that in the solution that you just said, that it's actually the salt and the lemon that are cleaning the toilet versus the vinegar and the baking soda, unless the baking soda has already gone to work before you put the vinegar in. But for anybody that didn't know, if you're using baking soda and vinegar together, they are canceling each other out.
You know what's interesting about that too, though? Because like I also use that to clean out the garbage disposal. So we'll put baking soda down there and then boiling water and vinegar. And again, it creates kind of that explosion. But I wonder if the explosion part at least like knocks debris off.
Okay.
but then you still need to clean it, you know?
Yeah. I still think both are powerful cleaning agents separate. I think together, depending on maybe the timing, I am not a scientist, but maybe the timing of putting them together makes a difference. But you're right. I think that reaction may just kind of knock the debris off. And again, no matter what, you've got the lemon in there as well. Now, that's an interesting scenario too. Again, not a scientist. Anybody can chime in here. But lemon is acidic. And so is that a high or low pH? I'm not sure. But so you'd wonder if it's a high. So that actually should mean that there's more baking soda, technically, right? Because the baking soda was the high pH there. So now you have more high pH than low pH in the toilet too. I don't know if anybody has any information.
Yeah.
Share.
Please share. All right. Well, some other things, I know we've been talking a lot about cleaning things, but there's also personal care items. So like I love doTERRA's shampoo. I think I've shared before that the shampoo bars and conditioner bars are so awesome and they clean my hair so well. So there's other healthy swaps you can do like that. Shampoo, soap in the shower. Oh, hand soap, huge one.
And you had a good recipe that you were using for that for a long time too.
I was, but it's just so much easier to use the stuff that doTERRA provides now that there's no need for me to. I mean, it was basically Castile soap and then water and whatever essential oils you want in there. So if anybody does want to make their own.
Rosemary and lime, I think, is what you had said.
Yeah, that was my favorite combo. But I would also do like On Guard around Christmas time because it smells kind of Christmassy and stuff like that. So you literally could put anything. But yeah, rosemary and lime was my favorite go-to. But then doTERRA gave us the On Guard to make your foaming hand soap or the Abode one. And I love those just as much.
Yeah.
If not more, because it's easier. So I do want to encourage you, if you're looking for a good, healthy New Year's resolution, starting to swap out things would be a really great one. And I don't want you to hear this and feel like you're overwhelmed and now you need to go get rid of all of the cleaners and all of the personal care products you use. But instead, if you make your New Year's resolution to just slowly trade things out as you run out. So as you run out of the Windex that you normally use to clean your mirrors, why don't you try out the vinegar and lemon oil? Just slowly changing things out is huge. And that way you're also not spiking cortisol and making yourself more stressed about it, but you're just slowly switching stuff out. You're not breaking the bank. But there's so many better options out there. They tend to be more affordable as well. And I think you'll really enjoy changing out your products.
I think this is an easy thing if you take it slow, like you said. I think it can feel really overwhelming for somebody that is still using all the Bath and Body Works scented stuff and all of the regular store cleaners. But you can do this. It is easy to do. It takes a little bit of planning just so that you kind of know that as I run out of this, here's my recipe for the next thing so that you have those products. But at the same time, once you transition to this, I feel like I have been very pleased and do not miss my old products at all. I feel like I have been able to live with these swaps for a very long time now. And I'm always finding new ones too, but I'm very pleased with the results that I get. I don't feel like I'm missing anything and I feel healthier because of it.
And I'll say as well, because I think a big concern for me when I started this was that everything was going to smell bad. Like my home was going to smell bad and I personally was going to smell bad because I wasn't wearing perfumes. And that's where essential oils are lovely as well. Like you get to pick your scent, but you're going to smell good. Your home is going to smell good. So you don't need to worry about that part. All right. Well, anything else, Heather?
I don't think so. I think start small and you can work your way up to changing out all of the things that are causing increased toxins in your home and switch them out for healthier options.
Yeah. So we so appreciate you taking the time to listen. We will have a brand new episode for you. And next week is actually the final episode of 2023. So if you're listening to them chronologically, then that will be a good one to listen to because we always talk about our top 10 oils of the year.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.